So this is a walkthrough of a project, which is service control policies automation using CDK pipelines and GitOps, as in like a GitOps approach where we check in or push service control policies into a code repository, version control in GitHub, and that will trigger a pipeline for which we make use of CDK pipelines and deploy the service control policies into an organization account. In this case, we have the organization account, that capability of managing policies to a delegated member account, which was a recent addition, recent announcement from AWS. So we delegate that ability to manage policies, specifically service control policies, to a delegated member account from organizations. And I have a different video for that. And I'll link it somewhere here. So using this, we have an automated approach and also traceability, auditability, and also scalability, and also the ability for users to know when there is a change, when they can contribute. So this is an open contribution model where people can add policies and have it attached to specific accounts and overuse. What we've also done is have Access Analyzer part of an integration test, for which we make use of branch protections in GitHub. So we protect the main branch, and when someone creates a pull request for policies to be merged to the main branch, we run an Access Analyzer validate policy test against those policies, just to make sure we do not have any errors or JSON related errors in the policy, along with any actual permissions related errors in the policy, for which we make use of Access Analyzer. So we do that, all of that here. It's going to be quite a long video compared to the other shorter ones I've done before. So what we're going to do now is a step-by-step approach of how we want to deploy this entire project. Is we will first push in our code, whatever CDK application we have built, which is the CDK pipeline and the CDK app itself. We deploy that to GitHub first, which is also along with the GitHub workflow, which I just mentioned, which has the integration capability of running Access Analyzer test when there's a pull request. So we push that code first, and then we deploy the actual pipeline itself. So let's get started with the initial first step. So this is like the very high level. So we push the code GitHub. We do that first. So the deployment is actually two steps. One is we have the code pushed to GitHub in a repository we have created, and we do the actual deployment of the pipeline to the security tooling account here. So once we do that, the first thing that will happen is the pipeline will look for the source code, which we have already defined in that repository. So it will pull that source code, and it will try to run a CDK synth of the CDK app which we built, which is actually to deploy the policy which we have defined. We have two policies, of which we've enabled just one policy, just to show how it works. And in the future, if we make any changes to code, any of the contributors, we create a pull request because we have protected our main branch. It follows an integration test, which is validation using GitHub Workflow, for which we make use of an OIDC provided role in the security tooling account. So that role, so GitHub Workflow will assume that role and run the Access Analyzer and provide the results part of the integration test, so that whenever an approver approves, he or she knows, has that telemetry, has that information, or if that policy is good to go or not. So what I've done is I've also added another user as an approver. So we'll push code as one user, and then we'll use the other user to approve and review the changes. All right then.